This is the Information Nation. I'm your host, Ken, on Orion Talk Radio, OrionTalkRadio.com, theinformationnation.com. We got a whole bunch of stuff to cover tonight, and I thought I was through putting everything together for tonight's show. And then something else came up. Apparently, somebody didn't like something I had to say on one of our AWTF episodes and accused me of being homophobic. Let me tell you something. I'm not scared of homosexuals. I am not homophobic. Whatever you do in your bedroom is none of my damn business. But I will tell you one thing. When you stand out in public and you start waving your flag in front of everybody's face, it tends to piss me off. Now, I have been accused of being homophobic. I have been accused of being a racist. Well, tonight we're going to get into racism and that piece of garbage that we've got sitting in the White House. But you people have to understand something, and I don't mean you people by saying, oh, you homosexuals. I could care less. But the people out there that listen to this program are interested in something that maybe you're not interested in, and that's the truth. The fact of what's being done to you. You think you're getting poked by your buddy? Wait, the government's not done poking you yet. I'm tired of constantly having to sit back and tiptoe through the tulips, so to speak, because, oh, I might offend you, I might offend you, I might offend you. If the truth offends you, then shut me off. Wait till I'm done and then listen to the station then if you don't like what I say. If the truth bothers you that much, then crawl back in your little hole. Sit there and be another sheep. And somebody will come along and shag you soon enough. You people out there tend to just irritate the hell out of me with this name-calling crap. Oh, you don't like what Obama said. You're a racist. No, I don't like what Obama said because, plain and simple, I know he's a piece of garbage and I know he doesn't tell anybody the truth. Oh, well, you're against homosexuals. No, I'm not against homosexuals. I could care less what you do in your bedroom. But if you're that embarrassed by, oh, he said something that offended me, maybe then you should turn around and take a good damn look at your lifestyle. Because it's your lifestyle that's the problem. It's not what I say. Because if I put the truth out there, there's nothing that you can turn around and say to me. You don't call me a homophobic and get away with it. I could care less. I don't care if you're a homosexual. I don't care if you're a lesbian. I don't care if you're from Mars. But this name-calling crap has got to stop. You start doing that stuff, it's because you've got no way to argue your position. Take a good look at your lifestyle. We have all sorts of people that listen to this program, black, white, Hispanic, homosexual, lesbian, straight, it does not matter. You want to know why they're here? They're here for the truth. They want to know what's going on. They want to know who's going to stick it to them next. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Anyhow, now that I got that little rant over, oh, don't worry. You know, my normal listeners know there'll be more rants as the night goes on. A while back, I dedicated probably half, if not three-quarters of my show to racism. And how everybody likes to play the race card. You know, what's his name? Eric Holder. He played it not too long ago. Oh, poor me. Poor me. They don't like me because I's black. Me and the president, we's black. They don't like us. They're a bunch of racists in this country. Really? I don't care if the president's black. I don't care if he's pink, orange, yellow, with blue polka dots. But what I do care about is a man who has socialist beliefs running this country into the ground. And that's all he's doing. He is taking this country and he's running it right into the ground. He has been on the campaign trail since 2006, 2007. And he said the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Last week, I played a clip for you. Almost every one of his presidential State of the Union addresses was the same. The words were shifted around a little bit, but he said exactly the same damn thing. So apparently he thinks that the American people are stupid. He thinks that we're not smart enough to catch him at doing what he's doing. And now he has admitted, he has flat out come out and admitted that he's a racist. And I'm going to prove it to you tonight. You know, we have a thing in the Congress called the Congressional Black Caucus. And the Congressional Black Caucus, it's exactly what it is. It's a bunch of congressmen who get together that are all black, who sit there and talk about black issues. And they had a congressman who wanted to join, and they told him he couldn't join because he's white. But he wanted to join for the specific reason that the majority of his district is black, and he wants to know where he can help the people in his district. So that just goes to show you that this is not an issue about, oh, we're in Congress to help the people. No, we're in Congress to line our own damn pockets. So they wouldn't even let this man join the Congressional Black Caucus, even though he was white. So I guess it's a club. I guess it's a scum-sucking, bottom-feeding, racist club. What do you think they would say if we said, Congressional White Caucus? Yeah, I could really see that going. They'd be running around screaming Klan. Oh, the Ku Klux Klan is in Congress. You know, anything to squash the average person. And if you don't agree with them, oh my God, you're a racist. I've been called a racist by some of the best of them. And Obama, you're not one of the best of them. And neither are the rest of you people in Congress. I could care less. You want to call me racist, call me a racist. You want to call me a homophobe, call me a homophobe. Because the difference being is I'm secure in myself, and I know what's true, and I know what isn't true. And what your perspective is doesn't matter to me. Go crawl in your little corner and cry, oh, he's a racist. Oh, I could care less. It's time that this crap stopped. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Send me the shirt. I'll wear it. I'm a racist because I don't agree with Barack Obama. You know, the mainstream media doesn't pick up on any of this stuff. Unless you're a conservative or you're a truther. Heck, even if you're just a Republican, they're going to pick up on the rest of this. They're just going to turn around and slap you down like the little bitch they think you are. They're just going to hammer you and tell you a load of crap. And the majority of the American people are just going to go, oh, yeah, I should be careful what I say because they might think that I'm a racist or that I'm a homophobe or you know, I don't agree with these people. I could care less. I think we all ought to go out and buy T-shirts, have them made up. I'm a racist. Racist on one side, you know, homophobe on the other side. And I'm a racist, a homophobe, and on the back it should say, and I'm damn proud of it. That's the only way we're going to wake these idiots up. That's the only way we're going to wake these idiots up. And when they get dragged off to FEMA camps and they go, I don't understand, nobody told me, that's because you shut off Truth Radio. Because your feelings were hurt. You know, when I was growing up as a kid, if I told my mother I didn't like what she made for dinner, you know, I just don't care for it. My mother didn't go off in a corner and go, oh my God, he doesn't like my cooking. No, she said, too bad, sit there and eat it anyhow. Because there's kids starving to death in other countries. Yes, we're back. It's Ken on the Information Nation, Orion Talk Radio, oriontalkradio.com, theinformationnation.com, and we were talking about racism and all the rest of the nice little names that they call us. You'll find a link on my website. Obama announces 2012 launch of African Americans for Obama. And here's what Obama had to say.
This month, we're announcing the 2012 launch of African Americans for Obama. Now, I don't think there's a better time than African American History Month to consider the tremendous progress we've made through the sacrifices of so many, or a better time to commit to meeting the very real challenges we face right now. Every day, I think of the generations of African American men and women who overcame slavery and oppression, risked their own safety to cast a ballot, even gave up their lives to help build a country that lived up to its founding principles. Their extraordinary hope, their unwavering determination changed this country. Their efforts made it possible for somebody like me to be here today. This is another moment where we've got to decide what kind of country we want to be. We can either settle for a country where a shrinking number of people do really well, or we can build a nation where everybody gets a fair shot. Everybody does their fair share, and everybody plays by the same rules. This campaign is powered by folks at every level, taking ownership where it matters most. Around the kitchen table, in barbershops and beauty salons, in your faith community, at work, or at school. And of course, in the voting booth this election day, because we are greater together than we can ever be on our own. Visit africanamericans.barackobama.com for more information about all the ways you can get involved, from attending HBCU organizing workshops to becoming a congregation captain. And say you're ready to keep making history. Thanks, and see you out there.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Has anybody heard the mainstream media jump up and say that it's racist? African Americans for Obama. What if there was a group called Mormons for Mitt Romney? They would scream and holler separation of church and state and all the rest of that crap. Or maybe for Ron Paul, white gun-toting, Bible-loving people. For Ron Paul, oh my God, that would be so racist. Or Cabbage Patch Dolls for Newt Gingrich. I don't know what they'd call that. But anyhow, the fact of the matter is, it seems to be okay for Obama and all the rest of these extreme left people to throw labels around and then do whatever they want. And the lamestream media doesn't do a damn thing. All they do is sit back and go, oh, yeah, that's good. Did you hear Barack Obama, African American for Obama. In the first place, African American denotes dual citizenship. It also denotes that you have to be an African in order to be an American. So he doesn't even know proper English, and this guy was a college professor? I mean, I'm no great English laureate here, but, come on, Obama, for crying out loud, you're the president. And you got to pull crap like this? You talk about cheap shots. African Americans for Obama. You can find a link on my website. They've got the article there. They've also got that video there. So if you want to go to informationnation.com and look it up, be my guest. It's there. I'm not making this stuff up. I didn't do a voiceover on anything. But why is it okay for everybody else except the white community? You mention anything. Oh, yeah, they jumped all over the one guy, whoever the heck it was, the guy that died a couple of years ago, because he was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Well, I don't agree with the Klan. But even if you can't even have a private club, but this is going to be a private club for Obama. Just like the Congressional Black Caucus is a private, restrictive club. I mean, what if they had a white, heterosexual male congressional caucus, which eliminated homosexuals and women and blacks? Holy cry, they'd be coming down on them like a ton of bricks. Or if they had the gay congressional Congress, well, they wouldn't say anything about that because they'd be too worried about being labeled homophobic. The problem being, and this is what I try to get across to people, they are dividing us just like he divides, we got to tax the rich. Why? Rich doesn't have any money. Ask him. He's in the chat room. But He's always taxing somebody, divide and conquer, divide and conquer. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to divide the country so they can sit in there for another 4 years or 6 years or 2 years and just suck up all the bennies. And if you put somebody in office that happens to disagree with them, oh my God, they come after them like they're coming, like a starving man on a sandwich. And we let them get away with it. We let them get away with it constantly, day in and day out, and the lamestream media just gets a tingle up their leg. Oh, I feel so good when Obama talks. I get a tingle up my leg. Well, maybe you do. When Obama talks, I normally get this lump in my throat like I want to vomit. Because I haven't heard the man say a damn thing that was worth darn listening to in the 3.5 years that he's been in office, other than the fact that the economy is taking a dump and housing markets have fallen. But that doesn't bother him. He's been running his campaign for re-election, and that started in November of 2008 because he wants to get back in office. So he can take those nice 17-day, $4 million vacations in Hawaii, and his wife can spend $11 million gallivanting all over the world like she's somebody important. Lady, I hate to tell you, you might be married to the guy, but you were not elected to a damn thing. So sit down and shut up. Can anybody remember, in all the time they've been around, a first lady that acted like this? Or for that matter, a president who acted like this? We're an embarrassment. They used to say the rest of the world hates us. Now we're just being embarrassed. I don't care if anybody hates us. Hate us, don't like us, don't like us, I don't care. Just don't take our money if you don't like us. Drink your oil. Or whatever else you want to do. But don't come after us because of our politicians. The American people are very generous people. And I'll tell you something. Have you ever watched the way the news media goes after a black politician if he's a conservative? Or any black person who's a conservative? It is so pathetic that these people can't give you the truth. What they were mandated by Congress and the Constitution to do was to tell you the truth. And they can't do that because they're playing the same game. They're playing the exact same game that everybody else in Washington is playing. Hi, how's everybody doing? This is Ken for the Information Nation on Orion Talk Radio, oriontalkradio.com, theinformationnation.com, and Obama, Jesus would back my tax-rich policy. That's pretty good, Mr. Obama. Whatever happened to separation of church and state? Maybe we should all be running around going, separation, church and state, separation, church and state. New York, and this is from CNN Money. What would Jesus deduct? President Obama offered a new line of reasoning for hiking taxes on the rich on Thursday, saying at the National Prayer Breakfast that his policy proposals are shaped by his religious beliefs. Yeah, his religious belief is, show me the money. He goes to the church to show me the money. Obama said that as a person who has been extraordinarily blessed, he's willing to give up some of the tax breaks he enjoys because doing so makes economic and religious sense. For me, as a Christian, I'm sorry. It also concludes that Jesus' teaching that for unto whom much is given, much shall be required, Obama said, quoting the Gospel of Luke. I told you this man's an idiot. How much more do I have to tell you? Yeah, Obama quoting the Bible. Maybe him and the Ayatollah can get together on Christmas and exchange gifts. Yeah, he's a Christian. Looks like a Muslim to me. If it walks like a Muslim, talks like a Muslim, quacks like a Muslim, it's a Muslim. I'm sorry. You know, this man is the best. He will stoop as low as a human being will be to get reelected, to pass his policies, so you can pay more. I'll give you an example of paying more. My wife the other day had to call her cell phone carrier because there was a little bit of a dispute on the bill, and she wanted to talk to him about it, and they were talking it over, and they said, a couple of months ago, the federal government passed legislation that we have to take out extra now in taxes so you can supply cell phones to people who don't have them. Really? So now I have to give a cell phone, and you and the rest of them, everybody else out there that pays taxes and that, and has a cell phone, they're taking money out of your cell phone bill to pay so somebody else can have a cell phone. When I was a kid, we didn't even have telephones. I mean, we had them, don't get me wrong, but if I wanted to make a phone call, I had to go down to the corner and get on the payphone. Most parents locked up their telephones because that was for mom and dad to use. You kids, you want to make a phone call? You go down to the corner. It's not like today, where, geez, I walk down the street and I text and, I need a better cell phone than this because there's a brand new one out and Billy down the street has got one and they run right out and buy it for me. And this is his way of manipulating the people, dividing us, keeping us that way because he tells us what we think we want to hear. And now he goes in. On the one hand, he has invoked religion on his tax policy. But on the other hand, White House, no constitutional rights issue in forcing Catholics to act against their faith. This is from CNS News. It's on the website, so is the other one. White House Press Secretary Jay Carney said there is no constitutional rights issue involved in regulation issued by the administration that requires all health care plans in the United States to cover eugenics or sterilizations and all FDA-approved contraceptives, including that induce abortions. Because the Catholic Church holds a sterilization, artificial contraception, and abortion are morally wrong and Catholics cannot be involved in them, the regulation, in combination with Obamacare mandate that all Americans buy health insurance will force American Catholics to choose between following the federal regulation or following the teachings of their church. So, let's take a good look at this. I remember that there's an Article 1 under the Bill of Rights. I mean, it doesn't say separation of church and state, but it also does not give the government the right to interfere in religious, unless, you're out there and, you're sacrificing your neighbor. But it doesn't give you the right to mandate anything. And here they go. Well, you got to provide abortions. Yeah, tell that to the Catholic Church. You've got to provide abortions. Or abortion pills and contraception and, sterilization. What's next? This is where we've gotten to be in our country. Now they're interfering with the church. They've basically taken God out of our culture altogether. And now they're going to get right in and they're going to mess with the churches. And the Obama administration sees nothing wrong with this. As a matter of fact, as you carry this down a little bit farther, and this is also on CNS News, Pelosi vows to stand with Obama against Catholic Church, says decision forcing Catholics to act against their faith was very courageous. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi vowed today that she will join the Obama administration in standing up against the Catholic Church and defending a new regulation that will require Catholic individuals to buy and Catholic institutions to provide health insurance plans that cover sterilization, artificial contraceptives, including those that induce abortions. The Catholic Church teaches that sterilization, artificial contraception and abortion are morally wrong, and the Catholic bishops of the United States have argued that forcing the Catholic individual to purchase health insurance plan that covers these things, or forcing a Catholic institution to provide such a plan, forces Catholics to act against their conscience and is a violation of the First Amendment right to free exercise of religion. And it is. I don't care what they want to say about it. It is stopping you from exercising your religion. Now, that being said, I don't know how many people remember, but a while back, Nancy Pelosi had an audience with the Pope in Rome when she went there, and he discussed her abortion issues with her. And if I were a bishop or a cardinal in the Catholic Church, I'm sorry, Miss Pelosi, you'd have to go to the church with Obama, because I'd kick your butt out. I'd kick your raggedy, scraggly old ass right out of the congregation. You would be gone. Because you're not a Catholic. You know, it's like everything else. You always hear these guys, they're always professing being Catholic or a Protestant or Lutheran or Episcopalian or, you know, a Mormon or a Muslim. Are they? Are they really? When they would go against their own faith, they have no moral standards whatsoever. Just go ahead and let's steal from the people. You don't like it? Too bad. We don't care what the Constitution says. Like Bush said, Constitution's nothing more than a doggone piece of paper. Yeah. If they get away with this, your gooses are cooked. You're not going to have anything left. You push around the biggest religious institution in the country, and that's why they're doing it. That's exactly why they've done what they've done, is to push around the largest religious organization in the country, in the world for that matter. And if they can get away with that, they're going to get away with everything else, because for the most part, pastors on the pulpit today, excuse my language, but they're chicken shit. Because they're worried about losing their tax-exempt status more than anything else. I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying the majority of them will not say anything because they're worried about losing their tax-exempt status. And this is what it has gotten you. Because you shut your mouth. Hey, the Information Nation. I'm your host, Ken, on Orion Talk Radio, oriontalkradio.com, theinformationnation.com. For those of you out there, we have a few of those sexy Orion Talk Radio T-shirts left. So how about hitting us up? I don't know how long they'll be offered. I'm sure that we will get more, but right now the ones that we have are going fast. So just jump on board and grab one of those. And help out the station. You know, you want to keep hearing the truth. It costs a little bit to run these stations, and that's the money there does not go to anything more than upgrade the equipment that we've got and help out the station. We see a lot of people in the chat room having a good time. We know a lot of people are listening to us. So how about gobbling up the rest of those so we can order some more? Anyhow, back to the Obama administration and their Catholic Church thing, and now Nancy Pelosi has jumped on board. And I don't know what it is about Nancy Pelosi that really annoys me. Either she's the dumbest individual I've ever seen or listened to or tried not to listen to and ended up listening to her anyhow. But give this a listen when she had a press conference and a guy was trying to ask her a question. It's mind-boggling with this woman. And you might find it...
Yes, sir.
The administration has issued a regulation that will require all healthcare plans to cover sterilization and all FDA-approved contraceptives, including those that induce abortions. This would force Catholic individuals and institutions to act against their consciences. All across the nation, Catholic
Is this a speech or do we have a question disguised as a
we will not comply with this law. Catholic bishops are saying they will not comply with this law. Will you stand with your fellow Catholics in resisting this law, or will you stick by the administration?
First of all, I'm going to stick with my fellow Catholics in supporting the administration on this. I think it was a very courageous decision that they made, and I support it. Yes, ma'am.
I listened to that 4 times before I figured out that she said absolutely nothing. I'm going to stick with my fellow Catholics with the administration. What? Huh? Come on, lady. That makes about as much sense as, well, we've got to pass it before you can know what's in it. You people out there in San Francisco, she's in the 8th District. She's becoming as big a joke as Obama is. Would you kindly get rid of her in the next election? I'm asking you, please. Get rid of this fruitcake. She makes absolutely no sense whatsoever when she talks. She makes none whatsoever. But I'm going to stick with my fellow Catholics in backing the administration. He just said the Catholic Church doesn't back the administration on this. But she's going to stick with the Catholic Church in backing the administration. Her elevator does not go all the way up. She's not firing on all cylinders. There's something wrong with this woman. I mean, please, get rid of her. I'm begging you. What can we do to help you get rid of her? Vote her out. Put somebody else in there, for crying out loud. But it travels farther than that. I mean, this isn't just the only place that this has gone. The U.S. Army silences Catholic chaplains from speaking out against Obama's administration ruling. And this was from theblaze.com. And it's also on like I say, all my articles are on the website. So just go to the website and you can check it all out. Last Sunday, Catholic priests across the country read an open letter to their parishioners. It condemned the Department of Health and Human Services' decision to force religious employers to cover the cost of contraception and abortion, including drugs, in its employees' health care coverage. The letter argued that the faith could not and must not, in good conscience, comply with the HHS law, unjust law. However, Catholic chaplains in the U.S. Army were forbidden from reading this communication after Archbishop Timothy Broglow, who was in charge of the Catholic military chaplains, sent out a note to be read at Sunday Mass. The Army Office of the Chief of Chaplains sent out another communication forbidding Catholic priests to read the letter, in part because it seemed to encourage civil disobedience and could be read as seditious against the commander-in-chief. The U.S. Army officials felt that the letter contained language that might be misunderstood in a military setting, according to Karen Jean Lopez of the National Review Online, and they asked that it not be read from the pulpit. Fine, get off the pulpit, walk down, stand right down in front, and read it there. But do you see what's going on here? They are so concerned with the people and what the people are going to do. They're worried about you're going to read something. It could be interpreted as being seditious. Oh, come on, people. Get real here. You know, what's next? I mean, they want to investigate your email. They want to read your Facebook posts. You know, they want to check and see how much you pooped during the night. You know, how much food you've got. Are you eating enough GMO or are you eating all natural stuff? They're getting into every little aspect of your life. And when you've got someone from the pulpit who wants to do a job is now told he can't do a job, he can't do what his own bishop or cardinal is telling him to do because it might be seditious. Do you see how they label it to make you think that there's something wrong with this? They're scared to death of us. We're winning the battle, little by little, one mind at a time, and these people know it. And they're getting scared. They're scared of what's going to happen because of radio stations like Orion and the other ones out there, your alternative news. Nobody wants to listen to lamestream news anymore. And they're turning off Fox because Fox isn't as fair and balanced as they always said they were. They're another one that's a joke. They jumped on the meal wagon right along with the rest of them. And I don't know why in the heck they would. They were doing quite well before they turned around and became a shill for the administration. But anyhow, we're winning this war. Little by little. We are starting to take them out. And I'm not talking taking them out and shooting them or taking them out and hanging them. I'm just saying they don't know what to do with us. That's why they're going to go after the internet. That is why they're going to shut you up any way they can. You know, when the internet first came, they saw it, we saw it as a way to communicate and a way to entertain. They saw it as a way to raise revenue. Well, guess what? Now it's become something that scares the hell out of them because, oh my God, the people can actually talk to each other and they're not watching the regular TV and holy Christ, this is bad. This is terrible. What are we going to do now? I know, we'll shut them up. Now we're going to take them and we're going to shut down the internet, or we're going to clamp that iron fist right around the internet's throat so these people can't talk anymore. We'll teach them to mess with us. And that's what's going to happen. You had SOPA and PIPA, and it scared the hell out of them when all of a sudden, big websites, Wikipedia, GoDaddy, and WordPress, they all had their front page on that thing was boom, shut down. And people started to wake up that way. We're starting to get the support of industry, because the industry is starting to see what's going on here. They're going to take their stuff too. It's not just going to be taking the money from the people. They're going to take it from everybody. China just shut down the internet to, what do they call that? That one area where they're having a problem. They shut down the internet. That's what these clowns want. They want you to say, oh, Mr. Obama, we'll be good. We promise. Would you turn back on our internet? Because I got to talk to my friends. Well, if you promise to behave yourself, we'll turn back the internet. We'll turn the internet back on. But we're going to be watching you very closely. And if you say anything that we don't agree with, we'll shut it down again. Scares the hell out of them. It scares these people to no end. Now, a lot of people complain about, oh, man, I talk to my friends. My friends are a bunch of idiots. They don't, they think I'm crazy. Maybe it's your approach. Or maybe it's the fact they don't want to wake up. There's a lot of people that aren't going to wake up, no matter what you do. On Orion Talk Radio, OrionTalkRadio.com, theinformationnation.com. Jump on board there, ladies and gentlemen. Those T-shirts are just flying off the shelves. Help support this station. We were talking in the last hour about all of the fun bills that they've got coming down, SOPA and PIPA and ACTA and all the rest of this. They love acronyms. I want you to listen to this, because here is a clip done by Press for Truth that talks about ACTA, and I think you'll find it interesting.
Hello, everyone. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth TV. The battle for the internet rages on as the power-hungry elite are now set to go head-to-head with the online community. People all over the world are waking up to the corruption that is all around us in incredible numbers. They are no longer tuning into their televisions for information, but rather are going online to get informed. And the puppet string pullers on the global stage need to gain back the control of the distribution of information. However, their bold attempt at a takeover of the internet was recently halted when the PIPA and SOPA bills were shelved as a direct result of the online community raising awareness about those bills, which led to massive boycotts and blackouts. But while all this was going on, the even more troublesome ACTA treaty was quietly being pushed through by the powers that be. ACTA stands for the Anti-Counterfeiting Trade Agreement. Drafting this treaty has been an ongoing process over the last 4 years, and each and every meeting has been done behind closed doors.
Late last year, a number of nations signed a new global copyright agreement known as the Anti-Counterfeiting Trade Agreement, or ACTA. Signatories include the United States, Canada, Japan, Australia, South Korea, and, as of this past week, 22 member states of the European Union.
The consequences we have to deal with are internet censorship, restricted freedom of speech, loss of net neutrality due to the restrictions of the use of certain protocols, total surveillance of all your online activities, loss of freedoms and restriction of civil rights, punishment like losing your internet access, and we will gain nothing.
Under this new treaty, internet service providers would be forced to disclose your information to the authorities if you are accused of pirating copyrighted material. ISPs normally need a court order in order to remove content from their servers. However, under the ACTA treaty, they would be obliged to censor the internet. You see, they are once again trying to have us believe that this is all about taking down websites like Pirate Bay in order to protect copyrighted material, when in fact this has everything to do with taking over the internet and controlling the flow of information which defines who we are. Under the ACTA treaty, all communications will be tracked and monitored in order to weed out the dissenters. In fact, at the Canadian border, U.S. and Canadian border protection agents already have the ability to conduct random searches on electronic devices for information containing terrorism. The problem is that their definition of terrorism is so broad that it can and will include not only members of the alternative media, but also anyone who challenges their system. We know that order out of chaos is their modus operandi, so we could see a false flag attack in the form of a cyber threat in order to guarantee the passing of ACTA.
We will work with all the key players, including state and local governments and the private sector, to ensure an organized and unified response to future cyber incidents. Given the enormous damage that can be caused by even a single cyber attack, ad hoc responses will not do, nor is it sufficient to simply strengthen our defenses after incidents or attacks occur. Just as we do for natural disasters, we have to have plans and resources in place beforehand, sharing information, issuing warnings, and ensuring a coordinated response.
So as the battle for the internet continues to rage on, always remember that in this pyramidal structure of control, it is we, the people, who make up the base and therefore have all the power. So let's do everything we can to raise awareness about ACTA, just as we did with the PIPA and SOPA bills. Share this video. Inform your friends and your family members that we are currently at a crossroads in regards to the direction the internet may go. So it is entirely up to us to maintain our free and open internet.
All right, there you have it. I would just like to let YouTube know that everything that I'm playing tonight has been allowed for reuse. So just to let you know so you don't flag this one when I put it up there. But anyhow, there you go. We're not going to get anything out of this. And it's all about, they're trying to make you believe it's all about money. You know, well, people are pirating music. You know, come on, the guy did the song 35 years ago. You're still holding on to it? Give me a break. For what if I got paid for every time a machine cycled that I built? I'd love to have a deal like that. But it's not about the music industry, and it's not about the television industry, and it's not about the record industry. Oh, they make you think it is, but it's not. It's about who's going to control the information. Who's going to keep you in the dark? Who's going to keep you going, Daddy, Daddy, government? That's what they're going to do. It has nothing to do with money. Not in this bit. This has to do with power. The European Union is they're as scared as the United States and everybody else who signed on to this thing because they've seen what's going on in other areas. And if you think that all of these demonstrations they just Two guys got together. One of them passed gas. The other guy came along and threatened to hit him with a carbon tax, and all these people showed up, and then they demonstrated, and they overthrew it. No. That's about as false a flag operation as you can get. Occupy Wall Street, that thing was planned. I got something they can occupy. The problem is, this is all planned. This is one distraction after another. They're going to tell you it's about, protecting copyrights, protecting patents, protecting, we got to protect. No, it's not about that. It's about shutting you up. Yes, shutting you up. Keep the people dumb and stupid. Keep the people quiet. That way, we can do anything we want. We can take from them until they're doing nothing but living in squalor. And they'll believe it because they don't know any better. What they are scared of is the people from around the world getting together and finding out that, hey, this guy that they're calling a dictator in this country isn't that bad in his country. And we're also finding out from other people on the internet that, hey, what's going on in their country and what we're getting for reporting are two different things. It scares the heck out of them that everybody walking around today, the majority of the people walking around today with a cell phone have got a video camera built right in, or they can at least take still pictures. And then you can transmit them. When they turn around and you got 35 police officers beating up on people down on Occupy Wall Street and shooting them with pepper spray and that, and it goes viral over the internet, it makes them look bad. So they pass a law. You can't videotape police in the performance of their duty. Yeah, I can. And you want to arrest me? You want to put me in jail? Go ahead, because as soon as I get back out, I'll get another camera and do it all over again. And for every one of us that they put in jail for that, there's 100 of us that they won't catch. That's what they're scared of. It's like they're like a bunch of little cockroaches. As soon as you turn on the light, they scatter. They don't want you turning on the light. And that's what they're scared of. They're scared we're going to rock them. Hey, this is Ken, host of the Information Nation on Orion Talk Radio, oriontalkradio.com, theinformationnation.com. 2 students face expulsion for sharing an asthma inhaler. I don't know if you heard about it. Happened in Monument, Colorado. She says she was just trying to help a friend, but now 2 students from Monument face expulsion after one loaned another her asthma inhaler. Alice McKinney thought her friend, Marina Kreitz, was having an asthma attack during a gym class. It happened at the Lewis Palmer Middle School. Both 8th graders were suspended for 10 days. The principal told CBS 4 he couldn't talk about the case, but said it comes down to 2 students sharing a prescription drug, which is against school policy. Well, let's take a good look at this. Later in the article, it says she should have gone to the nurse. The nurse can't even dispense an aspirin. So very plainly, if anybody out there has asthma, they know damn well without that inhaler, they could die because their airways close up. Here you have a young girl who was trying to do something for a friend, and she got in trouble for it. This shows you what they want. They want total control. They want your obedience. They want you to be like a little puppy dog when you walk down the street and one of those TSA people walk up and says, sit, and you go, oh, okay. And you sit, and you look at them with your big eyes, blinking your eyeballs, going, can I get up now? Can I get up now? And they go, okay. That's what they want. They want your absolute and total obedience. This girl tried to help another girl who she thought was having an asthma attack. Being an asthma person herself, she knows what it's like. Now, whether the other girl had asthma or not is not the issue. The issue is she saw one of her friends in trouble or a person in trouble. Let's take friendship out of this. She saw a person in trouble and moved to help. While the school stood there, and here it comes, folks, with their thumb up their chocolate whiz-wang, and they didn't do a damn thing. I knew some of you were waiting for that. You were waiting for that chocolate whiz-wang. Well, there it was. And in the meantime, these 2 girls are going to get suspended. They were suspended for 10 days, and they're talking about throwing them out of school totally. Oh, aren't those brave people over there, school board? Same people that want to give your kids Gardasil. We got a lot of idiots running around in this country, and unfortunately, most of them are in charge of stuff. Sugar should be regulated as a toxin, researchers say. Now, before I get into this, let's take a very good look at sugar. Sugar is a natural substance. Your body was made to process natural substances, not this GMO crap that they got out there. But on the other side of the coin, there's not that much money in sugar, but there sure is a hell of a lot more money in aspartame. So we're going to pump aspartame in people because it'll not only give them the taste of sweetness, but then again, they're going to get sick from it. So Big Pharma's in on the deal, and everybody's happy except the person that's sick. A spoonful of sugar might help medicine go down, but it also makes blood pressure and cholesterol go up, along with your risk of liver failure, obesity, heart disease, and diabetes. What a load of crap. This is probably some other damn researcher looking for another federal grant. Sugar and other sweeteners are, in fact, so toxic to the human body that they should be regulated as strictly as alcohol by governments worldwide, according to a commentary in a current issue of journal Nature by researchers at the University of California, San Francisco. Okay, now we know why we've got this. They're out there on the left coast. The researchers propose regulations such as taxing all foods and drinks that include added sugar, banning sales in or near schools, and placing age limits on purchases. Doesn't matter, purchases, what the heck. We can't read either. Although the commentary might seem straight out of the Journal of Ideas that will never fly, the researchers cite numerous studies and statistics to make their case that added sugar, or more specifically, sucrose, whatever, and even mix of glucose and fructose found in high fructose corn syrup in table sugar made from sugar cane and sugar beets has been determined to society as detrimental to society as alcohol and tobacco. Really? I'm sorry, these researchers are idiots. Let's move on. We've had enough of this. Audit of the Federal Reserve reveals $16 trillion in secret bailouts. The first ever GAO, Government Accountability Office, audit of the Federal Reserve was carried out in the past few months due to the Ron Paul, Alan Grayson amendment to the Dodd-Frank bill, which passed last year. Jim DeMint, a Republican senator, and Bernie Sanders, an independent senator, led the charge for a Federal Reserve audit in the Senate, but watered down the original language of House Bill H.R. 1207 so that a complete audit could not be carried out. Ben Bernanke, pictured to the right, unfortunately, this is radio, so forget the picture. Alan Greenspan and various other bankers vehemently opposed the audit and lied to Congress about the effects an audit would have on the markets. Nonetheless, the results of the first audit of the Federal Reserve, nearly 100-year history, were posted on Senator Sanders' webpage early this morning. Gee. See what they even do it to themselves. Oh my God, if you audit us, the world markets will crash. We'll be in a financial meltdown. Oh my God, what'll happen next? They lay the same BS on their own people that they do on us. The same BS that they lay on us is what they tell their own people to scare them. Because they're crooks. Now here, Obama's buddy, Chavez, threatens bank and landowners refusing his orders. Venezuela strongman Hugo Chavez threatened to nationalize private banks if they refuse to obey an official mandate and finance the regime's development projects, sparking more concerns about the future of Venezuela and its ailing economy. The socialist president has vowed to step up his failed land confiscation and redistribution schemes. I think we have a competition going here between Chavez and Obama. And they want to see which one of the two is going to be the first to. Obama's got a pretty good start on him. He's got the car industry and the banking industry and national health care, and next will be the land and some other things that are coming up. Venezuela ruler has already taken over a dozen banks and directly controls almost a third of the nation's banking sector. Millions of acres of farmland have also been seized by the regime and redistributed to build collective farms. Collective farms have never worked. They tried them in Russia. They've tried them everywhere else. They haven't worked. This guy's an idiot, too. What is it? Somebody gets in office and all of a sudden their brain falls out? I mean, what is that? Is that a rule or something? Let's see. You've become elected to the highest office in the land. First thing you got to do is you got to go to the hospital and we've got to take your brain out. Why? Do you ever get the feeling that there is absolutely zero common sense in government? I do. There is no common sense whatsoever. These people are so narcissistic that they think that they can do everything better than anybody else. They can do, you're just an idiot. You just built a $100 million a year corporation. We don't care. We can do it better than you, so we're going to take it over. And what happens? The economy gets worse, and then they blame everybody else. It's happens to be that damn capitalism. All right, we're back. The Information Nation. I'm your host, Ken, on Orion Talk Radio, oriontalkradio.com, theinformationnation.com. Hey, don't forget, right after this show, half an hour from now, End the Lie with Madison Rupert. Young man's really hitting it off big. Great show. Stick around for it. Okay, the FDA rules that your blood is a drug, and interstate commerce, too. So I guess if you cross the state line and you've got your blood in you, you're guilty of trafficking. Bizarre controversy revolves around the FDA's attempt to regulate the Centro Schultz Clinic in Colorado that performs non-surgical stem cell therapy called Regenex SD. It is designed to treat moderate to severe joint, tendon, ligament, and bone pain using only adult stem cells. Doctor draw your blood, spin it through a centrifuge, extract the stem cells, and re-inject them into your damaged joints. It uses no other drugs. No drugs means no FDA oversight, and that does not sit well with the administration. The FDA has since argued that stem cells are drugs, and B, they fall under FDA regulations because the clinic is engaging in interstate commerce. Huh? That's right. The process performed at the clinic using a patient's own bodily fluids constitutes interstate commerce because, according to the administration, out-of-state patients using Regenex SD would depress the market of out-of-state drugs that are approved by the FDA. Oh, it's only about the money. Don't worry about it. Bunch of druggies out there. I know how you people are. You've all got blood in you. Where are the vampires when you need them, for crying out loud? So if you're going to go on vacation, you're going to cross the state line. When you get to the state line, drain all your blood out. Go across the state line and then get some blood and put it back in. We got idiots running this country. The stupidity is running rampant. My God. Sierra Club admits to taking $26 million from the national gas industry to attack the coal industry. Gee, I wonder why. Now, this one you're going to like. This is from CNN News. The liberal environmentalist group, Sierra Club, admitted that it took $26 million in donations from a major natural gas company and used the money to fund the group's anti-coal campaign. In 2010, soon after I became the organization's executive director, I learned that beginning in 2007, the Sierra Club had received more than $26 million from individuals or subsidiaries of the Chesapeake Energy, one of the country's largest natural gas companies. Sierra Club executive director Michael Brune wrote on the Sierra Club website. Brune said that the reason the Sierra Club took the money was that it felt that it shared a common purpose with the Chesapeake Energy, ending the use of coal. The idea was that we shared at least one common purpose: to move our country away from dirty coal. But the other thing is, they don't like natural gas either. So as soon as they're done with the coal industry, Chesapeake, they're going to come after your chocolate whiz-wang and push you over the bridge. Jeez. This country is being run by morons. This country is literally being run by morons. And we got morons giving money to morons. Yeah, I promise if you give me the money, I won't beat you to death with this baseball bat. I'm only going to beat your enemy to death with the baseball bat. But then when I'm done beating him to death, I'm going to come and beat you to death. Say the magic word and the bird will come down. How stupid can we get? Stupidity is running rampant in this country, and it's being financed by corporations and millionaires. And they want to shut down the internet. You'd better not, because the free flow of information, the whole article, in the article it states that this guy said that they don't like natural gas either. They want to go with solar and wind. Why don't you go, you can't break wind because then you'll have to pay carbon tax. Oh my gosh, you got a problem there. But they want solar and they want wind power. There's enough wind coming out of them, they probably could generate a lot of power at the Sierra Club. They're working with technologies that have not even been proven yet. And they want to shut down coal plants. They want to shut down gas-fired plants. They want to shut down everything. And, we're going to go with solar. What if the sun goes out? Then what are you going to do? It's going to be dark. I think the Sierra Club ought to go to the sun to see how much fuel it has up there. They can go at night. It'll be cooler. You think they'll buy it? I do. I think they're that stupid. They can take Obama with them. He can go up there and push his agenda. Oh, my God. Where do we get these folks from? Okay. The NDAA was signed not too long ago by the our fearless leader, Barack Obama. And let's see what you're really going to get from the NDAA. This is from RT.
Well, let the indefinite detention and torture begin. It hasn't even been a month since President Obama signed the controversial bill into law, and we are now seeing it become a reality. The National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, as it's called, allows the government to detain and torture without trial anyone accused of having ties to terrorism, and that includes U.S. citizens. Now, one Gitmo prisoner has no hope of being released because of this new law. Masab al-Madwani, a Yemeni national, has spent the last 10 years at Guantanamo Bay, where he was repeatedly tortured. His attorney says he was tortured into admitting he was involved in terrorism. He has been fighting to get a trial, but just this month, the Supreme Court ruled that under the new law, he is able to remain detained. I spoke earlier to campaigner for Roots Action, David Swanson, who stated more indefinite detention and torture here in the U.S. is just a few signs of what is to come. Take a listen.
I think it's also not a complete change. So the United States has, as you know, long been detaining prisoners under various legal justifications and court rulings and executive orders. No one has been released without the government's decision. Through sheer stalling and various arguments, this has been the policy, and the hypocrisy could not be more stark as the president of Yemen, guilty of similar offenses, is brought here on the claim that it's for medical treatment, as this resolution on Syria argues, among other things, that they must release arbitrarily detained prisoners, as if the United States were going to do that. And of course, bigger than Guantanamo is Bagram, where the president worsened this bill with a signing statement declaring he needed no legal process whatsoever to detain people forever and ever at Bagram, and immediately received resistance from President Karzai, who said, turn them all over within a month.
And, when President Obama signed off on this bill, he did say that he had some reservations regarding certain provisions on the regulation and detention of suspects. And 1 month later, those concerns are already being used to keep people behind bars.
Well, there was a great deal of misunderstanding in this regard, as the president himself had insisted on these powers, insisted on no exclusion for U.S. citizens, and wanted the freedom not to ship all prisoners into military detention, but to detain them and handle them through non-military, CIA and other means as well, which he called flexibility, which some people might call tyranny. And so he had the bill worsened both in Congress and in the conference committee, and further again through his signing statement, which was obscured by the fact that in a very strange and unprecedented manner, he also, in that same signing statement, promised not to use some of the powers that he was hereby creating for all future presidents. Of course, that's not legally binding. He will use these powers if he sees fit, as will his successors.
So you're saying President Obama has already broken some of the promises that he made?
Well, to the extent that people got the impression that he was concerned about being given the power to detain anyone, or in particular U.S. citizens, understanding, of course, that this is the very same president who openly asserts and has exercised the power to kill anyone, including U.S. citizens, including juveniles. That was a misunderstanding, and he certainly has gone back on this, which echoes the experience of his last presidential election, during which many people understood him to be making promises that went far beyond anything he actually explicitly made, and then were disappointed when he went back on those so-called promises.
Now, we are already seeing the consequences of this bill. For critics and people concerned about how this is an attack on our rights here in the U.S., is there any hope of repealing some of the more controversial aspects of this bill?
Well, there's always hope, although hope has been given a horrible name by this president. It's going to take a major movement that does not bow down before either party or any elected official or sit on its hands for the better part of a year because there's an election, but actually pushes in a principled, uncompromising, strategic, and nonviolent way to change these things. And there is the beginning of that kind of movement. But these issues are not being discussed on U.S. television networks. So thank you for doing so.
David, why aren't these issues being discussed on these networks? We're hearing all these debates, one debate after another. We're not hearing too much about this. Why not?
Well, one obvious answer is that when the two big parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, agree on something, it's not considered a controversy and it's not considered a debate or something for the news. There also is very little desire to offend those who are desired guests for talk shows. There's a great tendency to appeal to those individuals, and there's a lack of investigative reporting. And so among the confused and bewildered on this topic are members of the media themselves.
And that was David Swanson, campaigner for Roots Action.
There you have it. No investigative reporting. We don't do that anymore. If there's no controversy between the Democrats and Republicans, we just move on because we don't care what they do to the average person. The only thing we care about is our own, the old saying, if it bleeds, it leads. And that's what you've got. The NDAA, ladies and gentlemen. The NDAA. Something to think about. The other thing to think about is I found an interesting one from another one. And once again, YouTube, these are all reuse allowed. Exporting the revolution. Dangerous game of relief regime change. Try to say that 10 times fast. I think you'll find this interesting. It's from RT. So give it a listen and find out why they're really looking to shut down the internet and all the rest of this good stuff that's going on out here in the world.
This is the business of selling a look. Sky-high heels, barely there clothes, revolutionary styles exported from the fashion capitals of the world.
Hello, I'm Marovich, Ivan Marovich.
And this is the business of selling, well,
revolution as a fashion line.
Exporting how-to lessons in revolution, aided by the democracy capital of the world.
Democracies, after all, aren't born knowing how to run themselves.
A decade ago, Marovich launched the Serbian student movement that helped oust President Slobodan Milosevic. The group was called Otpor, resistance, and it bore the now familiar symbol of the clenched fist. But behind the spontaneity of the uprisings was a carefully researched strategy guided by the West. Nebojša Malić is a Balkans columnist who's been chronicling the events in Serbia since 1999.
The Otpor movement itself was just a tiny student organization. Then it got subverted, taken over. The operatives then expanded it, turned it into a branding empire, and ended up basically running the grassroots level of the revolution, thus turning it into an AstroTurf one. They were run by the NED, which very openly goes in and says our goal is to promote democracy.
A New York Times investigation documented the extent of U.S. assistance. According to journalist Roger Cohen, Otpor was no ramshackle students group, but a well-oiled movement backed by several $1 million from the U.S.
The objective is regime change. The objective is to install a government that will execute orders. The worst thing about all this is that it's undermining a concept that enabled the United States to claim moral leadership in the world in the first place.
With Milosevic gone, Ivan Marovic now spends his time advising activists abroad.
Ever since, I've been traveling the world and teaching people how to get rid of their pesky dictators. So I have come up with these 3 easy steps so you too can get in on the action and laugh your way to freedom.
The video was made by students at the School of Authentic Journalism in Mexico for Narco News TV. But Ivan has helped develop a video game called A Force More Powerful, in which players can practice scenarios like organizing mass protests and overthrowing dictators. Today, Otpor is called Canvas, and with the help of the internet, their methods and symbols are exported the world over, from the color revolutions in Georgia and Ukraine to Venezuela and the Arab Spring uprisings in Egypt. William Engdahl has written for over 30 years about Washington's secret geopolitics. He's convinced that Canvas is not acting alone.
The instigators of those so-called spontaneous protests, these Twitter revolts in Cairo and Tunisia and so forth, have all been pre-organized assiduously. Some of the people, leaders of the protests, have been trained in Belgrade in Serbia by Otpor activists financed by the U.S. State Department. This thing has State Department and U.S. intelligence all over it.
3 easy steps, and that's all it takes to overthrow your very own government. So has revolution become a commodity, a product that could be branded, packaged, mass-produced, and exported all across the globe? Well, just like Ivan's video, this too, of course, is a spoof. But the game of regime change is quite real, and its unintended consequences can be downright dangerous.
It's ultimately the American taxpayer, I think, who's getting the short end of the bargain, because they're bankrolling people that are going around the world fomenting AstroTurf revolutions that are eventually backfiring, and they're backfiring all over the place. And once the people find out who was behind this, their anger turns to the American government and the American people.
Once you master a recipe, you can repeat it over and over.
An easy recipe, but the aftermath may be the hardest. Lucy Kafanov, RT, Washington.
Well, anybody see any T-shirts at Occupy Wall Street with the clenched fist on them? Yeah, that was them. That was them telling you we've taken it over and we're financing this, and this has been planned for a long time. Unlike the Tea Party movement, which has also been taken over, it's all planned. It's all planned to just lull you to sleep and take away everything you've got. So a few dictators you get rid of one dictator, and what do you got? You got another one. They just keep on popping up, like Jack in the Box. You know, you just keep on turning the handle. When the music gets to a certain point, another dictator pops up, and it's a shame because they're destroying the people in the process. You look at what happened in Libya and Egypt, and now what are they doing? The same people that went out there and they were for the people and everything else are now killing the people. And we're financing it. That's the part that's disgusting. We're financing it, and there's nothing we can do about it because they're not listening to us. They're not listening to you. They're not listening to me. They're doing whatever they want. The heck with you and the heck with me. It doesn't matter to them anymore. They have their power. That's what they wanted. And they got it. So unless you start kicking people out, and start at the grassroots level, kick out your local representatives, kick out your state representatives, work your way all the way up. You know, you got to be like like an animal. Start gnawing at their feet and keep on gnawing until you devoured the entire system. And if you don't, what's happened around the rest of the world is happening here. The only difference is we've got a so-called news media that might say something about it. And you're absolutely right, Ancient. Start with the local judges. They're the biggest scumbags out there. They don't listen to what the law is anyhow. But you got to start removing these people from office any way you can. I know a lot of people say, my vote doesn't mean anything. Well, let me tell you something. If you get so many people voting for one individual that they can't, there's no way they could rig the election because they know people would be aware of it. And then the change is going to have to come. People are waking up. Slowly but surely, people are waking up. Keep that in mind. Hey, I want to thank everybody for showing up in the chat room tonight and on TalkStream Live and listening to the broadcast. After me is Madison Rupert and the Lie Radio. Very good. And don't forget tomorrow night, WTF. I'll be there. Jules will be there. And we're going to see if we can drag John Connor in there. It should be an interesting show. A lot of laughs. So don't forget to tune in.